Welcome to Development Book Club. Today we will be beginning with a new book, which is I and Thou by Martin Buber. A note on this translation that it is actually translated by Walter Kaufman, who's a famous translator of Nietzsche's work, which is awesome. He wrote a great introduction to this book as well. And so his Kaufman's introduction and then the beginning of this book, which we're going to be covering the first part of the book called part 1, the shorter part 2 we'll cover later, has to do with, as the title alludes to, relationality. And the title is Ich und Du, which would normally be like I and you. Unclear why it's always translated as I and thou, sort of elevate the you. Buber says, the life of the human being does not exist merely in the sphere of goal-directed verbs. It does not consist merely of activities that have something for their object, he says. For example, like I perceive something, I feel something, I imagine something, I want something, I sense something, I think something. The life, he says, of a human being does not consist merely of all this and its like, these things. So what else is there? All this and its like is the basis of the realm of it. He says, but the realm of you has another entirely different basis. And so this is like the idea. There's I, it, or I, you. I, thou. He says, when I confront a human being as my you, capital U, capital Y, and speak the basic word I-you, I-you to him, then he is no thing among things, nor does he consist of things. The basic word I-you can be spoken only with one's whole being, he says. The concentration and fusion into a whole being can never be accomplished by me, can never be accomplished without me. I require you to become. And in becoming I say you. He offers a counterintuitive take on time. Toward the beginning of the first part, he says that presence is not what is evanescent and passes, but is what confronts us, waiting and enduring, going on. There are some cool thoughts on love and hatred. He says, you speak of love as if it were the only relationship between men. But are you even justified in choosing it as an example, seeing that there is also hatred? As long as love is blind, that is, as long as it does not see a whole being, it does not yet truly stand under the basic word of relation. Hatred remains blind by its very nature. One can hate only part of a being. Whoever sees a whole being and must reject it is no longer in the dominion of hatred, but in the human limitation of the capacity to say you. Yet, whoever hates directly is closer to a relation than those who are without love and hate. Throughout the first section, Buber gives his account of how consciousness becomes an I, and how that I seeks yous, and obviously it is all sort of given the context of this year's Buddhist text that we've been reading. It's very reminiscent of the 12 Nidanas, or like dependent origination. For example, when Buber says, in the drive for contact, which is the 6th Nidana, contact, and Buber says, originally a drive for tactile contact, then also optical contact with another being. So in that drive, the innate you comes to the fore quite soon, and it becomes ever clearer that the drive aims at reciprocity, at, quote, tenderness, end quote. There's a lot of this relationality, and I thought it was a cool time with the 6th Nidana there with contact. And Buber concludes the first part with the following. He says, and in all the seriousness of truth, listen. He says, without it, a human being cannot live. But whoever lives only with that is not human. And Kaufman has a sort of a footnote there for Rabbi Hillel's famous words, which are, if I am not for myself, who will be? And if I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, then when? Lots of relationality talk in the first part of the book. We will cover part 2, which I believe is the last part too. Next time. Thanks for watching.